So here we're told that shape T is reflected in the line x equals -1 to give us shape R. And then shape R is reflected again, but this time in the line y equals -2 to give a new shape S. And we're then asked to use this information to describe the single transformation that will map shape T, so the original shape, to shape S, which is the last shape that we're going to work out. So then if we have a look at the diagram, we have obviously shape T here, which is a triangle. And we need to work out how it's going to be mapped to shape S in a single transformation. Now firstly we need to assess where shape S is going to be, and in order to do that we're going to have to do both of the reflections, find where shape R is, and then use this to find where shape S is, and then we can look at the transformation between T and S. So whenever we're working with a reflection, I always find it useful to draw in the line that we're going to be reflecting it on. So firstly, shape T is reflected in the line x equals -1. So if I take x being equal to -1 and draw in this line, and I'll label it up as well just so that I'm 100% certain which line this is, I can then reflect T in it. So this point here is going to be 2 squares away from this line. So when it's reflected, it's going to be 2 squares on this side. This point here is 2 further away, so 2 further away. And then finally the top point is going to be 3 squares away from the line, so 3 squares to this side of the line. And then I can redraw in the lines, and that will leave me with my shape. And then I can label this one up as R. So T's been reflected in the line x equals -1, and that's given us shape R. Now moving on to shape S, shape R's reflected again, but this time in the line y equals -2 to give us shape S. So if I draw in the line where y equals -2, and just label that up, I can then reflect R in this. So these points are 3 squares away from this line. So if we continue 3 squares down on each side, we're left there. And then this top point is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's going to rest here. And I can draw that in and then draw the shape in. And this one is going to be shape S. Now we're basically looking for the relationship between T and S and the single transformation. So one transformation, we can describe this in one transformation, which maps T to shape S. Now initially here, I can see that T is a triangle facing this way up, so the top's pointing upwards, whereas S, the top is pointing downwards here. So initially here I'm thinking about some kind of rotation that may have taken place. So an 180-degree rotation would take T to S. Now we need to find the point at which this rotation is going to be from. Now we have these two lines that the shape's been reflected over. And if I look at this point here, where these two lines intersect, we're going to see that if we were to rotate T, so this triangle, 180 degrees clockwise or anti-clockwise, it doesn't matter, either way, for about this point here, so this centre, then it is going to be mapped to point S. So rotating T 180 degrees about the point -1, -2 is going to map it to S. And then that's the single transformation that we've been asked to find here. So in order to get both of the marks, one of the marks is going to be for saying there's a rotation of 180 degrees. And then the second mark is going to be for stating the point. So it's about the point -1, -2. And we need both of these points to get both of the marks here. So one is going to be for each. And that brings us to the end of this question. quite a bit of working out and drawing on this graph in order to work out the transformation and just to be 100% sure that that is what has gone on here and what has happened. Alternatively here, we could have gone about this in a different way, and instead of working with rotation, we could have used enlargement. So in this instance, we would have ended up with an enlargement of a scale factor of -1, so that would get us the first mark, and then yet again about the centre -1, -2, and that would gain us the second mark here. So there's a couple of different ways you could go about this question, either using the rotation or the enlargement. Both are going to get you both of the marks here.